There is a strange myth about intelligence. Most people imagine that a highly intelligent person looks obvious. They picture someone who talks non-stop, corrects everyone in the room, explains complicated ideas, and constantly proves how smart they are. If someone is truly intelligent, they must show it all the time. But real psychology tells a very different story. Some of the most intelligent minds in the world are not loud. They are not constantly explaining themselves. They are not trying to impress people in every conversation. In fact, many of them appear quiet, observant, even mysterious. Because extremely high intelligence often hides behind subtle behaviors that most people completely misunderstand. Cognitive psychologists explain that intelligence is not just about knowledge, it is about how the brain processes information, how it detects patterns, how it questions assumptions, how it holds complex ideas in mind at the same time. And when a brain processes reality at that depth, it naturally develops habits that look unusual to others. For example, a highly intelligent person might stay silent during a heated debate, not because they have nothing to say, but because they are analyzing every angle before speaking. They might enjoy spending long periods alone, not because they dislike people, but because their mind is constantly exploring ideas. They might question things that everyone else accepts without thinking. To an outside observer, these behaviors can look strange. Sometimes people even mistake them for arrogance, awkwardness, or overthinking. But in reality, these small habits often reveal something deeper. They reveal a mind that is constantly processing, questioning, and searching for understanding. And psychology research has discovered that many individuals with extremely high IQ share a surprising number of these behaviors. They are not obvious signals like solving math problems instantly or memorizing books. Instead, they are quiet patterns in how a person thinks, reacts, and experiences the world. In this video, we are going to explore 10 psychological habits that are commonly found in people with extremely high IQ. Some of these habits might surprise you, some might challenge the way you think about intelligence, and some might even make you recognize parts of yourself that you never fully understood before. Because sometimes the most intelligent minds in the room are not the ones speaking the most. They are the ones observing, questioning, and thinking several steps ahead. So pay close attention. By the end of this video, you may start noticing intelligence in places you never expected, and you might discover that the quiet mind is often the most powerful one in the room. Before we begin, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My mind seeks truth. Habit 1. Comfort with solitude. One of the most misunderstood traits of highly intelligent people is their relationship with solitude. Many people assume that if someone spends a lot of time alone, something must be wrong. They might think the person is antisocial, distant, or disconnected from the world. But psychology research shows a different reality. For individuals with extremely high IQ, solitude is not loneliness. It is mental freedom. Their mind is rarely quiet. Even in silence, their thoughts are active. Ideas move rapidly. Questions appear constantly. Connections form between things that most people would never link together. Because of this intense internal activity, quiet time becomes incredibly valuable. When the outside world is noisy, the mind has less space to explore complex thoughts. Conversations demand attention. Social expectations require emotional energy. Constant interaction forces the brain to shift focus again and again. But solitude removes those interruptions. And when that happens, something powerful begins to unfold. The mind can wander through deeper questions. A highly intelligent person might sit alone and suddenly begin exploring an idea about human behavior. That thought leads to another concept. That concept connects to a pattern they noticed weeks ago. Soon their brain is building entire mental frameworks. What looks like someone simply sitting in silence might actually be hours of deep internal exploration. This is why many brilliant thinkers throughout history valued time alone. They understood that creative thinking rarely happens in crowded rooms. Solitude gives the brain permission to slow down and dive deeper. Psychologists sometimes call this deep cognitive reflection. It is the ability to analyze ideas without pressure, without distractions, and without the need to immediately explain your thoughts to others. And this mental space often produces powerful insights. But there is another reason highly intelligent people feel comfortable alone. Their curiosity keeps them mentally occupied. They do not rely on constant stimulation from other people because their own thoughts are often more engaging than external entertainment. A single question can keep them thinking for hours. Why do people behave a certain way? What patterns exist in society? What hidden motivations drive human decisions? These kinds of questions create an endless mental landscape. To someone with a highly active mind, solitude is not empty. It is full of ideas, full of curiosity, full of exploration. And, ironically, people who are comfortable being alone often build stronger relationships later in life. Why? Because they do not interact with others out of desperation for attention. They choose connection intentionally. They listen carefully. They observe deeply. And when they speak, their words carry weight. So the next time you see someone who enjoys quiet time, do not assume they are disconnected from the world. They might simply be exploring it in a deeper way. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Solitude strengthens my mind. Habit 2. Persistent curiosity. One of the clearest psychological patterns found in people with extremely high IQ is a deep and relentless curiosity about how things work. For them, the world is not simply a place to move through, it is a puzzle waiting to be explored. Most people accept everyday events without questioning them. They see a situation, form a quick opinion, and move on with their day. But a highly intelligent mind rarely stops there. Instead of accepting surface explanations, their brain automatically begins asking deeper questions. Why did that happen? What caused that reaction? What pattern is hidden beneath that behavior? This constant search for explanations is not something they force themselves to do. It happens naturally. Their brain is wired to investigate. A simple conversation might trigger 10 different thoughts in their mind. They might start analyzing tone, word choice, emotional reactions, and underlying motives all at the same time. Where others see a moment, they see a system. And curiosity does not stop with people. It expands into everything around them. They wonder how technology evolves, how cultures form beliefs, how history repeats certain patterns, and why certain ideas influence society more than others. Even small observations can lead them into deep exploration. A single question can open the door to hours of reading, researching, and thinking. For example, they might start with a simple curiosity about why humans fear uncertainty. That thought might lead them into psychology. Psychology might connect to evolutionary behavior. That connection might bring them into anthropology or philosophy. Their curiosity creates chains of discovery, and those chains rarely end. This is why highly intelligent individuals often develop knowledge across many different fields. They do not study topics only because they are required to. They study them because their mind refuses to stop asking questions. Curiosity becomes the engine that drives their learning. Psychologists often describe this as intrinsic motivation. It means the desire to understand something comes from inside the mind itself, not from external rewards like grades, praise, or recognition. For highly intelligent people, learning is not a task. It is an instinct. And this instinct creates a powerful advantage over time. While others stop learning after school or work hours, a curious mind continues exploring ideas long after the day ends. Books become gateways, conversations become learning opportunities, even mistakes become valuable information. Every experience adds another layer to their understanding of the world. But curiosity also comes with a challenge. Sometimes the mind refuses to turn off. Questions appear at random moments. Ideas compete for attention. Thoughts keep expanding long after everyone else has moved on. Still, this constant questioning is one of the strongest indicators of deep intelligence. Because true intelligence is not about having all the answers. It is about never losing the desire to search for them. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My curiosity has power. Habit 3. Talking to themselves while thinking. One behavior that often confuses people is when someone quietly talks to themselves while thinking. Many assume this habit is strange. Some even associate it with distraction or lack of focus. But psychology research suggests something very different. For highly intelligent individuals, self-directed speech can actually be a powerful cognitive tool. When a person speaks their thoughts out loud, even softly, the brain begins to organize information more clearly. Words create structure. They transform abstract thoughts into a sequence that the mind can analyze step by step. In simple terms, speaking to yourself can help the brain process complex ideas more efficiently. Highly intelligent minds often juggle many thoughts at once. Ideas overlap, questions appear, possibilities multiply. Without structure, this mental activity can become overwhelming. Self-talk becomes a way to bring order to that mental chaos. Imagine trying to solve a difficult problem. Instead of silently holding every possibility in your head, you begin quietly explaining the situation to yourself. You might say, if this happens, then that result follows. But if the opposite occurs, the outcome changes completely. By putting thoughts into words, the brain separates ideas and examines them individually. Psychologists refer to this process as verbal working memory support. It allows the mind to hold information more steadily while analyzing it. Children naturally use this strategy when they are learning new tasks. They often whisper instructions to themselves while solving puzzles or figuring out problems. But interestingly, many highly intelligent adults continue using this technique throughout their lives. They are not doing it out of habit. They are doing it because it works. Self-directed speech can sharpen focus, clarify decisions, and strengthen memory retention. It also creates a strange advantage during complex thinking. When thoughts remain silent, they sometimes stay vague and unfinished. But when those same thoughts are spoken aloud, even briefly, they become more concrete. The brain can hear its own reasoning, and hearing those words often reveals errors, contradictions, or better solutions. This process acts almost like having a private conversation with your own mind. Some of the most creative thinkers have used this technique while developing ideas, solving problems, or organizing plans. To an outside observer, it might look like someone is simply muttering to themselves. But inside that moment, a powerful mental process is taking place. Ideas are being arranged, possibilities are being tested, decisions are being refined. What appears unusual from the outside may actually be a sign of deep cognitive engagement. So the next time you catch yourself quietly thinking out loud, remember that your brain might simply be building clarity. Because sometimes the smartest conversations you will ever have are the ones you have with yourself. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My mind speaks clearly. Habit 4. Intellectual humility. Many people assume that highly intelligent individuals are always confident in their knowledge. They imagine someone who walks into a room believing they understand more than everyone else. But in reality, one of the strongest psychological traits found in people with extremely high IQ is something that seems almost paradoxical: It is intellectual humility. This means they are surprisingly comfortable saying three simple words: "I don't know." To some people, admitting a lack of knowledge feels like weakness. It can feel embarrassing. It may seem like a loss of status in a conversation, but a highly intelligent mind sees it differently. They understand something that many people overlook. The deeper you explore knowledge, the more you realize how vast and complicated the world truly is. Every answer often leads to more questions. Every discovery reveals new layers of uncertainty. Because of this awareness, intelligent individuals rarely assume they fully understand everything. Instead, they remain open to learning. Psychologists sometimes connect this mindset to a concept known as metacognition, which is the ability to think about one's own thinking. People with strong metacognitive awareness recognize the limits of their knowledge. They monitor their assumptions. They question whether their conclusions are based on solid reasoning or incomplete information. This creates a powerful advantage. When someone refuses to admit uncertainty, their learning stops. Their beliefs become rigid. They defend ideas even when new evidence appears. But intellectual humility keeps the mind flexible. A highly intelligent person can change their opinion when presented with better information. They do not see this as losing an argument. They see it as improving their understanding. This trait often surprises people during discussions. Instead of dominating every conversation, a highly intelligent individual might ask thoughtful questions. They might pause before answering. Sometimes they will openly acknowledge when another person offers a valuable perspective. This behavior does not come from insecurity. It comes from respect for complexity. They understand that knowledge is not a trophy to display. It is a constantly evolving process. In fact, history shows that some of the greatest thinkers were known for their humility. They recognized that the pursuit of truth requires curiosity, patience, and the willingness to accept that your current understanding might still be incomplete. Intellectual humility also builds stronger relationships. People feel more comfortable sharing ideas when they are not constantly being corrected or challenged. Conversations become collaborative instead of competitive. And when a highly intelligent person finally speaks with certainty, their words carry far more credibility. Because everyone knows they are not trying to appear knowledgeable, they are trying to be accurate. In a world where many people pretend to know everything, the ability to admit uncertainty is actually a sign of deep intelligence. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I learn without ego. Habit 5. Overanalyzing small details. Another common psychological trait found in people with extremely high IQ is their tendency to analyze things far more deeply than most people expect. Where others see a simple moment, they often see layers of meaning. A small change in someone's tone, a subtle pause in a conversation, a minor inconsistency in a story. These details might pass unnoticed for most people, but a highly analytical mind immediately begins examining them. Their brain is naturally trained to detect patterns. When something feels slightly different or out of place, the mind begins asking questions almost automatically. Why did that person react that way? What caused that shift in behavior? What possible outcomes could follow from this situation? This process can happen within seconds. It is not always intentional. Their brain simply processes information at a deeper level. Psychologists often describe this ability as advanced pattern recognition. The brain constantly scans for relationships between events, behaviors, and consequences. This skill is extremely valuable in many areas of life. It allows someone to notice problems before they become serious. It helps them understand complex systems. It also makes them better at predicting how certain situations might unfold. For example, in social interactions, a highly intelligent individual might notice emotional signals that others miss. They might detect tension between two people before any argument begins. They might recognize when someone's words do not match their body language. These observations allow them to understand situations more clearly. However, this deep level of analysis also comes with challenges. Sometimes the mind refuses to stop analyzing. A small event might replay in their thoughts long after it happened. They may revisit conversations, examining different interpretations of what was said. Was that comment sincere? Was there another meaning behind it? Did I miss something important? This constant evaluation can create mental fatigue. While others quickly move on from situations, a highly analytical mind may still be exploring possibilities hours later. But despite this challenge, the ability to examine details often leads to deeper understanding. Many breakthroughs in science, philosophy, and strategy began with someone noticing a detail that others ignored. Small observations can reveal large truths, a pattern in human behavior, a flaw in a widely accepted idea, a hidden connection between two seemingly unrelated events. Highly intelligent minds are naturally drawn to these subtle clues. Their brain treats the world like a puzzle where every small piece might matter. So what looks like overthinking from the outside may actually be the mind doing what it does best, searching for patterns that others cannot see. Habit 6. Complex sense of humor. One psychological trait that often surprises people is the type of humor highly intelligent individuals tend to enjoy. Their sense of humor is rarely simple or predictable. While many people laugh at obvious jokes or straightforward punchlines, highly intelligent minds are often drawn to humor that contains layers of meaning. Their brain enjoys jokes that involve irony, unexpected twists, wordplay, or subtle contradictions. Why? Because humor, at its core, is about recognizing patterns and then suddenly breaking them. A joke sets up an expectation. The listener's brain predicts where the story is going. Then the punchline suddenly shifts direction and creates surprise. For someone with strong cognitive ability, this moment of unexpected connection triggers a powerful reaction. Their brain instantly detects the cleverness behind the structure of the joke. Psychologists describe this as incongruity recognition. The ability to notice when two ideas collide in an unusual way. Highly intelligent individuals tend to process these unexpected connections very quickly. That is why they often enjoy forms of humor that others may find confusing at first. For example, they might appreciate sarcasm that carries a hidden message beneath the surface. They may enjoy clever wordplay, where a single phrase has multiple meanings. They might even laugh at philosophical or dark humor that reflects deeper truths about human nature. Sometimes their jokes are so subtle that people miss them entirely. This can create an interesting social dynamic. A highly intelligent person might make a quiet comment that contains a sharp observation about a situation. A few people may immediately understand and laugh, while others remain puzzled. To them, humor is not just entertainment, it is also a form of mental play. Their mind enjoys bending ideas, flipping perspectives, and exposing contradictions in a creative way. Humor becomes a playground for intelligence. It allows them to explore complex thoughts without sounding overly serious. In fact, many brilliant thinkers throughout history were known for their sharp wit. They used humor as a way to express insight while also challenging the assumptions of those around them. But this type of humor can sometimes be misunderstood. Because it often relies on subtlety, Some people interpret it as sarcasm, arrogance, or even criticism. The truth is much simpler. Their brain simply enjoys discovering connections that others might not immediately see. When they notice a clever twist in language or a hidden irony in a situation, their mind reacts with amusement. And in many cases, humor becomes one of the healthiest ways for highly intelligent individuals to cope with the complexity of the world. It provides relief from constant analysis and gives the mind a moment to play with ideas rather than dissect them. Because sometimes the smartest minds do not just think deeply, they also learn how to laugh at the strange patterns of life. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My mind finds irony. Habit 7. Cognitive flexibility. One of the most powerful mental traits associated with extremely high IQ is something psychologists call cognitive flexibility. In simple terms, it is the ability to change your thinking when new information appears. Many people struggle with this. Once they form an opinion, they tend to defend it strongly. Even when evidence begins to challenge their belief, they often hold on to their original position. Why? Because changing your mind can feel uncomfortable. It can feel like admitting you were wrong. But highly intelligent individuals usually approach thinking very differently. They treat beliefs less like permanent identities and more like temporary working theories. A belief, to them, is simply the best explanation they have based on the information available at that moment. And when new evidence enters the picture, they are willing to update that explanation. This does not mean they change opinions randomly. In fact, their thinking is often extremely structured. They evaluate new information carefully. They compare it with previous knowledge. They analyze whether it strengthens or weakens their current understanding. If the evidence clearly points in another direction, they adjust their perspective. This ability is incredibly valuable in a complex world. Reality constantly changes. New discoveries reshape science. New experiences reshape personal understanding. Social dynamics evolve over time. A rigid mindset struggles to keep up with this constant movement. But cognitive flexibility allows the mind to adapt. Psychologists often connect this trait to advanced problem-solving ability. When a challenge appears, highly intelligent individuals rarely approach it from only one angle. Instead, they mentally explore multiple possibilities. If one solution fails, they quickly shift their strategy and test another. Their mind behaves almost like a strategic system, constantly updating its map of reality. This flexibility also improves decision-making. Someone who can consider multiple viewpoints is less likely to fall into extreme thinking. They are more capable of recognizing nuance. They see the gray areas between two opposing positions. In conversations, this ability often appears as openness. Rather than arguing aggressively, they listen, they ask questions, they evaluate ideas without immediately rejecting them. This does not mean they lack conviction. It means they care more about accuracy than ego, and this distinction is important. People who attach their identity to their opinions often resist change. They defend their beliefs to protect their pride, but highly intelligent individuals are more focused on understanding the truth. If changing their perspective brings them closer to that truth, they are willing to do it. In many ways, cognitive flexibility reflects intellectual maturity. It shows that a person values learning more than being right. And in a world filled with rigid thinking and constant arguments, the ability to update your mind may be one of the strongest signs of true intelligence. Habit 8. Late-night mental activity. Another interesting pattern that appears frequently among people with extremely high IQ is a strong tendency toward late-night mental activity. While many people feel mentally exhausted after a long day, Highly intelligent individuals often experience the opposite. Their mind becomes more active when the world grows quiet. During the day, the brain constantly handles interruptions. Conversations, responsibilities, notifications, and social interactions all demand attention. Each one pulls the mind in a different direction. For a brain that naturally processes information deeply, this constant noise can limit concentration. But nighttime changes the environment. The world slows down, phones stop ringing, streets become silent, expectations disappear for a few hours, and suddenly the mind has room to breathe. In that quiet space, thoughts begin to expand. Ideas that felt unfinished during the day return with more clarity. Questions that were pushed aside begin to surface again. Complex problems that seemed confusing earlier suddenly start forming solutions. Psychologists sometimes refer to this pattern as delayed cognitive peak activity. It means that some brains reach their highest mental alertness later in the evening. For highly analytical thinkers, nighttime can feel like the perfect mental laboratory. Without constant distractions, their thoughts flow more freely. They might begin reflecting on a conversation that happened earlier in the day. That reflection leads to a new insight about human behavior. That insight sparks curiosity about psychology, history, or strategy. Before they realize it, an hour has passed while their mind explored several layers of thought. Creative thinking also tends to flourish during these quiet hours. Many writers, inventors, philosophers, and scientists have reported that their most powerful ideas appeared late at night. The silence removes pressure. The mind becomes less restricted by routine thinking. It begins to wander. And wandering thoughts often produce unexpected connections. However, this nighttime mental activity can sometimes create challenges. While the body may be ready for rest, the brain continues running. A single idea can lead to another question. That question opens another path of curiosity. Soon the mind is fully engaged when it should be relaxing. Highly intelligent individuals sometimes struggle to turn their thoughts off completely. Their brain simply refuses to stop exploring. But despite this challenge, these quiet hours often become some of the most productive moments for deep thinking. When the world pauses, the mind can finally stretch without interruption. Important realizations appear, creative solutions form, hidden connections become visible. In many ways, nighttime gives the analytical brain something it rarely receives during the day: complete mental freedom. And for a mind that constantly searches for understanding, that freedom is incredibly powerful. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My mind thrives in silence. Habit 9. Observing more than speaking. One behavior that often surprises people about highly intelligent individuals is how quiet they can be in social situations. Many assume that intelligence means dominating conversations, sharing opinions constantly, and demonstrating knowledge whenever possible. But in reality, people with extremely high IQ often do something very different. They observe first. Instead of immediately entering every discussion, they prefer to watch how the situation unfolds. They listen carefully to what others say. They notice tone, body language, emotional reactions, and subtle shifts in group dynamics. Their mind is collecting information. For them, a conversation is not just an exchange of words. It is a complex system filled with signals. Every interaction reveals something about how people think, what they value, and what motivates their behavior. While others are focused on expressing their thoughts quickly, highly intelligent individuals are often focused on understanding the environment. They ask themselves questions internally. Who holds influence in this group? What emotional tensions exist between these people? Why did that person react strongly to that comment? These observations allow them to build a clearer picture of the social landscape before they contribute their own voice. Psychologists sometimes describe this ability as high social awareness. It involves recognizing emotional cues, understanding hidden motives, and identifying patterns within human interaction. Because they observe so carefully, highly intelligent individuals often choose their words with precision. They do not feel the need to speak simply to fill silence. When they finally contribute to the conversation, their comments tend to be thoughtful, relevant, and impactful. Sometimes a single sentence from them can shift the entire direction of a discussion. This creates an interesting contrast. While others may speak frequently, their words sometimes fade into the background. But when someone who has been quietly observing finally shares an insight, people often listen more closely. Their silence has created weight behind their voice. Observation also protects them from making quick emotional reactions. Instead of responding instantly to conflict or disagreement, they take time to evaluate what is really happening. They consider different perspectives before forming a conclusion. This habit can make them appear calm even in tense situations. They are not rushing to defend themselves or attack others. They are analyzing the situation before deciding how to respond. In many ways, this behavior reflects a deeper understanding of human nature. Words reveal thoughts, but silence reveals patterns. By listening more than speaking, highly intelligent individuals gain access to information that many people completely miss. And over time, that information becomes one of their greatest advantages. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I observe before speaking. Habit 10. A continuous search for meaning. The final psychological habit common among people with extremely high IQ is a relentless drive to understand the deeper meaning behind everything. Highly intelligent minds are rarely satisfied with surface-level explanations. A single event, conversation, or observation often sparks a cascade of questions. Why does this happen? What drives this behavior? What larger patterns exist that connect these small moments? Unlike casual thinkers, they don't stop at the obvious answer. They dig deeper, looking for underlying principles and connections that most people overlook. Their curiosity extends beyond facts and figures. They seek insight into the essence of reality, human nature, and purpose. This habit often manifests as introspection. They spend significant time reflecting on life's mysteries, considering ethical dilemmas, societal structures, and personal motivations. Even mundane experiences, like watching a group of people in a park, can trigger profound thoughts. Their mind searches for the why behind actions, the invisible rules shaping human behavior, and patterns linking seemingly unrelated events. Philosophers often describe this as a search for existential understanding. Highly intelligent individuals frequently wonder about the big questions that many avoid. What makes people happy? Why do societies repeat mistakes? How can knowledge be applied to improve life? This drive isn't purely academic. It shapes how they live, make decisions, and interact with the world. Their search for meaning also fuels personal growth. They constantly evaluate their own thoughts, beliefs, and motivations. This self-reflection helps them identify weaknesses, uncover biases, and refine their thinking. They are not content with merely knowing. They want to understand, and that understanding drives action, creativity, and innovation. However, this habit can sometimes feel isolating. Not everyone is willing or able to engage in such deep reflection. Highly intelligent individuals may find themselves pondering questions that others consider irrelevant or overly complicated. This can create moments of solitude or frustration, but it is precisely this mental depth that allows them to see patterns and solutions others miss. At its core, the continuous search for meaning is what differentiates highly intelligent people from the average thinker. It transforms knowledge into wisdom, it turns curiosity into insight, and it ensures that their mind never becomes stagnant. Even when they achieve expertise in one field, their thoughts naturally expand into new areas, constantly pushing boundaries. This drive also creates a profound connection with the world. They are not just reacting to life, they are interpreting it, analyzing it, and learning from it at every opportunity. Every question they ask, every observation they make, adds to a mental tapestry of understanding that grows richer over time. As we wrap up, it's important to remember something that many people overlook. True intelligence is rarely loud or obvious. Highly intelligent minds do not always demand attention. They do not constantly display their knowledge or prove themselves in every conversation. Instead, their habits are subtle, sometimes hidden, and often misunderstood. The comfort with solitude, the endless curiosity, the habit of talking to themselves while thinking, all of these behaviors can appear strange or even antisocial. But, in reality, they are the mechanisms through which a brilliant mind processes, organizes, and interprets the world. Observing more than speaking, overanalyzing details, adapting beliefs with cognitive flexibility. These are not weaknesses. They are strengths that allow a person to act with precision, make wiser decisions, and understand situations at a depth most people never reach. Even humor, often complex and layered, is a tool of the mind, a way to exercise creativity and recognize patterns that others overlook. And late-night mental activity, which might seem unusual to an outsider, provides the quiet space required for the mind to explore ideas without interruption. All of these habits point to one key truth. Intelligence is not about appearing smart. It is about thinking deeply, questioning relentlessly, and seeking understanding constantly. So if you notice someone quietly observing, reflecting, or asking subtle questions, do not mistake them for being shy or disengaged. Their mind is active, powerful, and constantly exploring. And here's the most important takeaway. You can adopt some of these habits in your own life. Take time for solitude. Ask questions. Reflect on your thoughts. Observe before speaking. Embrace intellectual humility. These are not just traits, they are practices that strengthen your mind and help you navigate the world with clarity and insight. If this video gave you value, I encourage you to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss future insights that can transform the way you think. Remember, intelligence is subtle, curiosity is endless, and the pursuit of understanding never stops. Embrace these habits and watch how your mind grows stronger, sharper, and more capable of seeing the world in ways others cannot. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. My mind sees deeply. Your journey toward understanding starts with curiosity, reflection, and the courage to think differently. Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep growing.